It's the final round and everything will be decided this weekend. This is AquaX. Welcome to the stunning Pensacola beach here in Florida, where this weekend the 2019 P1 AquaX Race to the Bahamas will be decided. Some of the biggest and best names from the world of personal watercraft racing on this side of the Atlantic are about to have a titanic tussle, hoping to cement their place at the AquaX World Championships in November at the Atlantis Resort in the Bahamas. And after what has been an incredibly tough week for our friends in that part of the world, feeling the full force of Hurricane Dorian, the thoughts and best wishes from the whole AquaX community are with you. This weekend, the action will take place here on the fast, flat water of the Gulf of Mexico, where speed and reliability will be key if you want to book one of those final few places on that Race to the Bahamas roster. And after last time out, with all the drama and action we saw on the packed beaches of Michigan City, as we know, anything can happen.
Here we go. We are off and away here for round number 3. Ooh, Baldwin catches an edge. Daly with one heck of a hole shot. And up go the arms for Christian Daly. Brian Baldwin moves into the lead and he takes the win.
Well, AquaX never disappoints, and the racing on the Great Lakes there managed to serve up 3 different race winners. Lucas Oil world ranked #1 Brian Baldwin still leads the pack, and just behind him, keeping on his toes, is the current champion Eric Francis, and in 3rd place is the steely-eyed veteran that is Chris McLuggage.
It's definitely going to be a fast one. It's going to be a fatiguing one. I think we have a heat index of over 100 degrees.
And in terms of the Race to the Bahamas, it's been announced who's going, but championship points are what this weekend's all about, right?
Yes, championship points. I mean, you know, it's a far shot for me to win this weekend, but there is always that chance if something happens. But, you know, mine is just one race at a time.
Yeah, we have the advantage because we really don't have anything to lose. You know, he's the guy that's got to be out there and not make mistakes, stay on the boat, pray everything works. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to really lose a spot per se, but we sure want to gain that last one.
Under the tent this weekend as well, you've got Christian Daly alongside you. I saw you guys having a chat earlier this weekend, and great to have a good new crop of riders that are in your tent and in your team.
Yeah, I mean, it keeps it fresh out there. I mean, because at the end of the day, you know, me and Chris, I mean, we've been racing, you know, 20 plus years, so it's nice to have some young blood out there, you know, give them some advice, talk to them before the race.
Yeah, it's looking super fast out there, and we did some testing yesterday, and the ski is extremely fast, so I'm super excited to get out there.
It's all about the Race to the Bahamas this weekend, but it's also all about the championship. You're the Lucas Oil ranked #1, and you're also leading the point standings. You don't want to go home away from here with anything less than a win, right?
Yes, you know, I have a 31-point lead, and you know, I want to come here and win as well, but you know, I need to hold on to that championship lead. So, you know, we're just going to ride smart and, you know, hopefully come out with #1.
Well, Pensacola Beach is a new venue for AquaX in 2019, and you've only got to spend a few moments down here on the sand and take a look at the scene to realize just how fantastic this place is.
Well, Pensacola Sports does a number of different things. Basically, we create economic impacts in our Escambia County. We create opportunities to recognize our local athletes as well as the sports tourism industry. I love the experience. I love watching these guys compete. I love the competition, obviously. It's very professionally done. The organization is first class. So we're glad to have these guys here, and we hope it's a great place for the racers and the spectators.
Yeah, I was really excited for this Northern Gulf Pensacola race because whenever I've raced here in the past, you know, it doesn't disappoint.
Yeah, I'm excited. This is the first time, beautiful venue. It's going to be awesome.
it's an awesome event. You know, I love Pensacola, especially. You know, the water's so awesome. It's usually a lot rougher. We were hoping for rougher conditions, but you know, we'll take what we can get.
Yeah, it's pretty shocking. I've been out here for probably 15 years, and this is the first time I've ever showed up to flat water in Pensacola Beach. So it's a bit surprising, but yeah, it's going to equal to really fast lap times.
Well, it certainly is a great setting down here on the sand, and one man who knows Pensacola Beach very well is our race commentator, Mikey Young. Mikey, good to see you.
Good to see you, and great to be here back in the Emerald Coast, Pensacola Beach Grand Prix this weekend. We haven't raced here in many, many years. We started racing here back in 1992, so this place has a storied history.
Yeah, it certainly has a great history, and it's an incredible setting. Really hot this weekend, and the competition is hot as well. At the top of the championship, it's all about Eric Francis chasing down Brian Baldwin to try and take the overall title. The points are close, and he can do it.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Brian Baldwin, though, he's been on fire lately. He's been the most consistent, and he's actually hit the podium our first 3 rounds, and he's the only racer to do that.
And also this weekend, there's a whole lot of other riders also on the bubble. Sophie Francis, Tyler Hill, Christian Daly. There's so many names that seem to be, you know, chasing these older, more experienced riders down.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you also got Eric Lagopoulos. Lagopoulos right now, I believe, is tied with Tyler coming into this race right here. And Sophie, she's just been riding like a beast.
Yeah, there's a lot to look forward to this weekend, and we'll be bringing you all of the action right after this. Welcome back to a glorious scene here in Pensacola, Florida, which, as you can see, is home to a pretty stunning beach, but it's also home to the equally spectacular Blue Angels display team. Well, high-speed side-by-side action in the air there, and that's exactly what we also expect on the water with Aquacross. But I tell you what, with 4 races over the weekend, these riders are really going to need to find their wings if they want to stand on that top step of the podium. Well, the first one of the weekend is only moments away. The riders are getting prepped ready for launch, so let's take a look at the course they'll be taking on.
Okay, folks, let's take a look at the course guide here in Pensacola Beach for round number 4 of P1 Aquacross as we race to the Bahamas. The course is going to be located on the west side of the pier. Going to be 8 course markers out there with 7 turns. The course is about 1.25 miles in length. As we go, take a look through the lens right now of Brian Baldwin. He was your points leader coming into the weekend as we get ready to go green here in Pensacola Beach. And there we go. The green flag is dropped. We are off and away. 21 racers here in race number 1 for P1 Aquacross, all headed toward one turn right now. Taking again a look through the lens of Brian Baldwin, and you can see Michelle Colasanto right there flanked to his left. And it is nothing but pump wash as we head into turn number 1. We'll see who darts out in front here. It looks like Aksa Oswar has a little advantage as we take a look again through the lenses there of Brian Baldwin. And you can see Oswar coming in strong from that inside section. And Oswar hasn't been racing with us since Daytona, so he missed the last 2 races in St. Pete and Michigan City. Your top 3 as they come through looks like it's Oswar, followed by Christian Daly, boat number 105. And now taking a look through his lens right there, and you can see Aksa Oswar up there in front, and a beautiful shot there of the landscape here at Pensacola Beach. Let's take a look at the replay here, and look how close Chris McCluggage and Chris Saxon, boom, they get together, and McCluggage ends up the benefactor of that one. Back out to your race leader, it's Aksa Oswar, boat number 117, and Aksa came all the way from Jakarta, Indonesia, as we got a huge battle going on here for second place now between Christian Daly and boat number 911, Eric Francis. Francis second overall in the points coming into the weekend, and I'm sure he'd like to get that top spot on the box this weekend. Oswar still your race leader, followed by Francis and Daly, and still a big battle for second, as you can see Daly right there trying to push Boat number 911, Francis, a little bit wide. These two are teammates, but actually their engines are tuned by two different folks. And you can see just how close they were. And it looked like Francis got his peanut butter in Daly's chocolate. Back out to the race course, and let's take a look at our top three. Let's go back actually a little bit further to 5th place, where we got Sophie Francis, boat number 191. And she's vying for her first podium spot here in the Pro Enduro class. This is her first year as a pro. Brian Baldwin, boat number 502, though, the points leader, not getting the start that he wanted. Currently running about mid-pack right now. And again, let's go back and take a look at the replay here. Your battle for second. Once again, Daly getting ahead of Francis, but Francis just goosing that throttle as the Broward Motorsports dynamic duo go head-to-head. Back out front to Aksa Aswar. Aksa with his father fully watching on. His brother Arrow also in the race. Arrow coming off of a torn ACL surgery. And he's currently running about mid-pack as well. And we take a look again at the top three. The top three are Aswar, Daly, and Francis. Francis and Daly really going at it. A lot of lead swapping going on there for that second place position. As we take a look again at Aksa Aswar. Aswar with a very unique riding style. You'll notice him standing the entire race, whereas a lot of other guys are going up and down and using that seat to their advantage. As we go back on board here with the Eagle, Eric Francis out of West Palm Beach, Florida. And you can take a look through the rear side of Aksa Aswar, where all the action is going on behind him. Aksa Aswar sponsored by Dean's team, Dean Cherrier, spinning the wrenches there for the Aswar brothers, who, again, first time over since Daytona, and taking a look through the lenses there of Eric Lagopoulos, boat number 361. Eric hitting the podium in Michigan City for the first time here in 2019. Top three still Aswar, Daly, and Francis battling it out. Christian Daly, again, currently in second. You can see what kind of lead right there that Aksa Aswar has. Just off to the left, about a 3.5 second lead, and Daly trying to keep him in his gun sights, because when Aswar pulls away, he's hard to catch, especially 30 minutes into this one. And again, you can see that unique charging riding style there of Aksa Aswar. Back out to Brian Baldwin, boat number 502. Baldwin out of Catawba, North Carolina, sponsored by Riva Racing and Champion Power Sports, a shop which he owns up there in North Carolina, just outside Lake Norman. Back out to your race leader, Aksa Aswar, as he gets ready to come down the front straightaway. Goosing that throttle, working on that lead, trying to put some real estate between he and second place. Daly and Francis still going at it. And Daly still maintaining that second place position. But here comes Francis. Francis with a pole in the water, trying to reel him in as they get ready to come down the front straightaway. Currently working alongside the pier. And you can see just how violent that turn is right there as they come into the front straightaway. Bottom left-hand side of the track as we view it here from the beach. On board with Eric Francis. And you know, it didn't start out to look that rough out there, but when you got 21 boats out there, things do tend to chop up. The wind was at only 6 miles per hour when we started this one. And let's take a look at the replay here with Chris McCluggage. And Chris McCluggage and boat number 153, Anthony Radetich, touching right there up at the north side of the track. And McCluggage getting the better of that exchange as he gets past the Sea-Doo pilot, Anthony Radetich, a.k.a. the A-Train. Now let's take a look here at boat number 117. Again, that is Aksa Aswar. And the beach is packed here in Pensacola Beach for round number 4 as we race to the Bahamas at P1 Aquacross. Back out to Brian Baldwin. Baldwin getting a little pump wash right there as he works his way through the chicanes. And again, you can see Francis coming out of that turn, just how violent that is. And he gets that boat where it's almost sideways. And look at this, loses his lanyard. And in a frantic panic, he has got to get that thing hooked back up if he wants to stay right there in that battle with Daly. You can see arms crossed, and you can tell he's probably pretty nervous out there just trying to get that thing working. And speaking of working, he's also sponsored by Works Racing Components out of Australia, and Jet Pilot. Looks like he's back up on the track as we go on board with Francis's teammate, Chris McCluggage. McCluggage coming down the front straightaway. And you can see he's getting tossed around a little bit out there as well. Back on board with Aksa Aswar, and Aksa with a very smooth ride so far. And you can see he is still charging as we head toward the latter stages of this one. Battle for second still between Francis and Daly, and you can see Francis flanked to Daly's left as Francis pulls out, grabs that second place position over Daly. So we've got Aswar, Francis, and Daly running 1, 2, and 3 right now, as Aswar works his way left to right down the front straightaway and in command of his own destiny here in race number 1. Now Christian Daly currently in 3rd place, and you can see, looks like, I'm not sure if he's got a problem or what, but you can see he was kind of looking behind him, and not sure what the issue is there. We'll let you know his status here momentarily, but let's go take a look at the replay here first. Aksa Aswar taking a look behind him, see what kind of lead that he had right there, and it seems to me that he's feeling pretty comfortable out in front right now. Back out to the race course, Tyler Hill, boat number 202, currently sitting in that 4th place position, having a great ride out there, the young man from Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Chris McCluggage. Looks like Chris has problems. I see him look over, hand goes up in the air, and yep, that boat has some issues, and boy, I'll tell you, Chris has really had some struggles this year. They've had problems with delamination, with wiring harnesses. Not quite sure what the issue is here, but a tough break there for the Broward Motorsports team as the battle for 3rd rages on here between Christian Daly and I believe that is Tyler Hill. So Hill and Daly. Hill actually advances up into that 3rd place position, and it looks like Daly may have a mechanical issue as well. So Chris McCluggage, boat number 46, pulls into the pits. He's going to go back out there and try to salvage some points as the white flag comes out, and we are on the last lap here for Aksa Aswar. And Aswar right now looking just as fast here on that last lap as he did on the first lap, looking to go wire to wire in his first race back in over 3 months. Great to see the Aswar kids back out here and racing the P1 AquaCross Series as we race to the Bahamas. Taking a look right there, Eric Francis still in that 2nd place position, and the finish, there we go. Aksa Aswar going to take it home. Congratulations to the Dean's Team racer, Aksa Aswar, and coming through in 2nd, not too far behind, boat number 911, Eric Francis. As you can see them congratulate each other. And let's take a look at the results. In 1st place, Aksa Aswar out of Indonesia. 2nd place was Francis. 3rd place, Tyler Hill. 4th place was Christian Daly. 5th place, Sophie Francis. And 6th, Daniel Wagner.
Actually, that was an impressive ride. We haven't seen you for a few weekends, and you went out there and just did that from start to finish. You must be absolutely wiped out.
I'm so wiped out, and I'm shocked. Yeah. I didn't know to get the whole shot, but I was out front. I was like, please, just don't break or don't fall, and I'm good.
Eric, strong racing from you there. You were charging the whole way, and you were rewarded with 2nd.
Yeah, we had a really good start. Came out 3rd. We were battling there with Daly for the first couple laps, and you know the young guns got out front and they showed their fast, but we pulled them in there towards the end, got Daly, and another couple inches and we would have had Aksa. So I'm happy with that. Can't really complain with a 2nd place finish on the first moto.
Ryan, that was a bit uncharacteristic. I'm watching the race and I'm not seeing you running in the front. What went on?
We're just a little off on our setup. We're going to go back to the drawing board and get this thing sped up a little bit and come back and do some work.
Well, a great result for Aksa Aswar. They're leading from start to finish, but you can tell in this heat, and with that pack chasing him down, it took it out of him. Will he have more in the tank with 3 more races to go this weekend? Only time will tell. Join us for more action right after this. Welcome back to the scorching heat here in Pensacola Beach, where the P1 AquaCross Race to the Bahamas action continues. We've already had one phenomenal race, and it threw up all kinds of surprises. Chris McCluggage just doesn't seem to be having the luck this year. He pulled out of the race with ski problems. Brian Baldwin finished in 10th or 11th. Again, the ski not just running right for him. Christian Daly was going well in that one, running in 2nd for most of the race. The ski gave up on him towards the end. He finished in 4th. So it fell to Eric Francis and Tyler Hill to get themselves home in 3rd and 2nd, and Aksa Aswar took the win, but you could tell how much that win had taken out of him. There are 3 more to go on the weekend, and the action is going to continue. Mac, didn't catch you at the end of that last one because we saw you coming in halfway through the race. Ski problems?
Yeah, we had a ski problem. We were overheating, and we went back and addressed the problem, and we hope it's solved for this moto.
All right, well, best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Eric, had a bit of a rest there in between the two races. You feeling good ahead of this one?
Yeah, I wasn't even tired from the first one, so just keep doing moto after moto, you know. Let's go.
Tyler didn't catch at the end of race one, but that was a great result for you there. You were pushing in fourth and you finished up in third.
Yes, super happy, you know. I'm just trying to get better each and every race. I'm super grateful that companies like River Racing, Yamaha, and Business St. Pete that truly let me live my dream. You know, this is a dream come true.
Well, here we go with race number 2, and the dream continues for young Tyler Hill and this gentleman right here, Christian Daly, as we look out through his goggles. And we are going green here in race number 2. And it is going to be a battle down there. Who will get the whole shot here for race number 2? Aksa Aswar with the whole shot in race number 1. We'll see if he can go 2 for 2 for the weekend for the young Indonesian as we take a look out the lenses of Eric Lagopoulos, and you'll find the Visit St. Pete Clearwater racer Daniel Wagner on boat number 44, flanked just to his left. Well, we have the usual suspects out there toward the front: Aswar, Hill, Francis, and Baldwin. And it looks like Aswar looking to nab that hole shot. As we take a look through the lenses of Baldwin, Baldwin currently running in about that 4th position right now. And you can see the jet sprays, the pump wash there, slowing him down just a little bit. Eric Francis now trying to work to the outside of Aswar. And it looks like Tyler Hill working to the inside on that Riva Racing Yamaha. You can see just how close things were as they came into that first turn. And again, taking a look through the lenses of Eric Lagopoulos. Lagopoulos also sponsored by Dave Bandis and Company down at Riva Racing. As we go back on board here with the 911, the Eagle, Eric Francis. Francis showing you just how rough it is and the condition that you need to be in to be out here and be a part of the Pro Enduro 300 class. Let's take a look at your top 3 right now. We've got Aksa Aswar, boat number 117, out in front. Tyler Hill on 202 in second, and Eric Francis in third, and Brian Baldwin and Dennis Mack side by side as they race their way down the front straightaway. And you can see just how much confidence he has in his fellow racers. These guys going approximately 70 to 75 mile per hour side by side into that turn with no brakes. Back out to your race leader now, Aksa Aswar. Aswar trying to pick off where he left off in race number 1 as we go back on board with Eric Francis. Again, Francis showing you just how rough it is out there as he works side by side with his teammate Chris McCluggage. You can see they're both up and down. Now McCluggage working to the inside of Francis. He's going to go ahead and steal that position away from Francis. So now you got Aksa Aswar, Tyler Hill 1 and 2 with Chris McCluggage, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, back there in the 3rd spot. Now let's take a look at the replay of the start here. Again, through the lenses of Christian Daly. And Daly, you can see flanked just off to his left was Tyler Hill. To his right was Sophie Francis. And Sophie out of the hole like a rock out of a slingshot there for that start. And she's again looking for her first podium this season. Took a 5th place in that first race. She is poised to do it here. 1 for the girls, as here is your battle for 2nd place starting to heat up between McCluggage and Tyler Hill. And you can see as they work their way through the chicanes up by the top side of the pier that McCluggage is slowly reeling in the younger rider Hill as they come down here bottom left-hand side of the track, and McCluggage looks like he's going to try to work an inside-outside move. Gets crossed up a little bit. Boom. Oh, McCluggage off the boat. A tough break for Chris McCluggage, and he is in a bad spot right there. These racers cannot see him as they come around that marker. And again, taking a look at the replay here, and you can see just how violent that was as McCluggage comes off. Bottom right-hand side of the picture here. Wow. And again, from the front side, this is what we've seen from the beach. And he just gets crossed up right there, catches an edge, and that boat tosses him off like a rag doll. So a tough break there for the elder statesman, Chris McCluggage, who races for Broward Motorsports, and his engines are tuned by David Cabrera Speedy at Cabrera Motorsports. As Chris gets a tow back, facing the opposite direction, not where you want to be. Chris going to get back out on the track. He's going to lose several positions, probably lost about 10 positions right there, but just showing you what a hard charger he is. And Brian Baldwin also able to get past Tyler Hill as he advances up into that 2nd place position. And you can take a look through the goggles right now. Brian Baldwin Currently, Aksa Oswar still out in front. Brian Baldwin in second and Tyler Hill in third. And look at this battle right here between Baldwin and Oswar. Baldwin moves into the lead as they're on the west side of the track. And look at this. Once Baldwin gets by, he is hasta la bye-bye. Peace out. Brian Baldwin is trying to check out of this one. Aswar wondering what the heck happened right there as you see the replay through the lenses of Baldwin, and Baldwin just gets out the broom and he sweeps really hard along Aswar, and again on that right-hand side of the track, just able to get ahead. So Baldwin moves into first place. Aksa Oswar slides back to second. Eric Francis in third, with McCluggage trying to work his way back through the pack. And here is the view from Christian Daly as he gets ready to go a lap down, not in a very familiar spot for the youngster out of Carmel, Indiana. As your race leaders battling it out right there. That's the battle for second place. As we go back on board with your race leader, Brian Baldwin. And once Baldwin was able to get out in front, he has really excelled and put a lot of real estate between he and second place. Taking a look through the lenses there of Eric Lagopoulos as he just went past boat number 44, the Visit St. Pete Clearwater boat. That's Daniel Wagner, who was stranded in the water out there waiting on a little assistance. Let's take a look here at Eric Francis. Francis working alongside the pier right now as he works his way through that chicane. And this is the battle for second place now between Francis and Oswar. And you can see just what Francis is facing right now, trying to stay out of the chop and the wake and the pump wash being tossed up by Aksa Oswar. Again, back out to your race leader, Brian Baldwin. With those two battling it out, he has really been able to achieve quite the lead here. Back on board with Eric Francis, and Francis now side by side with Oswar. Looks like Francis able to get Oswar, moves up into that second place. Oswar slides back to third. Still got Brian Baldwin up there in first place, and that's the way they look 1, 2, and 3 as we head to the latter stages of this one. And you can see boat number 153, that's Anthony Redetic, A-Train, going a lap down there on Aksa Oswar. Oswar still currently in that third place position as he works that Dean's Team Yamaha down the front straightaway. And here comes McCluggage. McCluggage, after coming off of the boat earlier on in the race, has raced his way back into this one and is now challenging Aksa Oswar for that third place position. Wow. That's why they call him the GOAT. Boy, this guy never gives up, and he puts a capital C in the word champion. As we go back on board here with Eric Lagopoulos out of Sarasota, Florida. And Eric picking up, again, his first podium in Michigan City just a couple weeks ago. Been riding very steady here the last couple rounds of P1 Aquacross. Taking a look at your top three again, it's Brian Baldwin, Eric Francis, and Chris McCluggage, who was able to get past Aksa Oswar. What an amazing job to come back up into the top three after coming off of your boat and fighting through the pack. On board now with Eric Francis. Again, Francis currently sitting in that second place position. You can see he's working right there alongside the pier. Great view there from our helmet cam. And here comes McCluggage. McCluggage now working on his teammate Francis. Gooses that throttle down the front straightaway and knocking at Francis's back door right now as they work their way through the chicane, top right-hand side of the track. Again, you're looking through the lenses there of Eric Francis, and you know that he's feeling the heat from his teammate from Broward Motorsports, Chris McCluggage. Meanwhile, your race leader, nothing but clean and green pastures in front of him. Back to Eric Francis. Francis still feeling the heat from McCluggage. And you can see he's looking around, and there goes McCluggage. McCluggage goes to the outside. McCluggage moves up into that second place position as they get ready to head down the back straightaway. And it's going to be a drag race down the back straightaway with Francis on the inside. McCluggage now squirting ahead, coming up. You can see he's put a couple boat lengths in between he and third place Francis right now. So Chris McCluggage doing what he needs to do to put that boat back up everywhere. Oh, and look at Francis. Francis looked like he caught an edge, came off the boat, racing McCluggage down the back straightaway. Great shot there from our green flight drone, and you can see Francis swimming back to his boat. Let's take a look at the replay, and oh, that's the way that Francis seen it right there. How violent was that? Wow. That's amazing to see that, that Francis is still swimming out there and he's not on the rescue boat. And look at just how violent this is. Boom, a whole backflip. You can see parts coming off of his body armor. And tough break there for the Eagle, Eric Francis. And boy, this guy has got to be fatigued. You know, what a tough break for him. Only a couple of minutes left to go in this one. Comes off while racing his teammate down the back straightaway. Tough break there for the 911, but don't worry, there ain't no emergency out there. The Eagle is back on his boat, and he's getting her hooked back up. He'll get her fired back up and rejoin the cast. But again, that had to take a lot out of Eric Francis. Great job, though, being able to get back up onto the boat. Meanwhile, Brian Baldwin, with all that happening behind him, has thrown it in cruise control. Out comes the checkered flag, and Brian Baldwin and Riva Racing will take first place here in race number 2. Great job by Brian Baldwin. Let's take a look at race 2 results. It was Brian Baldwin taking first, Chris McCluggage in second, Aksa Aswar in third, Sophie Francis in fourth, D-Mac and Vanjie Ramjeet fifth and sixth. Okay, let's add up the points after 2 races here in Pensacola Beach. Aksa Aswar with the 10-point lead over Eric Francis. Sophie Francis currently sitting in third. Fourth of Brian Baldwin, D-Mac in fifth, and Christian Daly in sixth.
I got a good start, and I was closing really fast to the leader, and I just knew that if I pushed hard, I could get him. And then once I got by him, I looked around, and there was nobody around me, so I just backed it off a little bit, and wanted to keep a comfortable lead, but not do anything dumb like go swimming. So it was good.
My pro ran pretty good. I think I rode the freaking wheels off of it. I'm going to be cocky for once, but go back to my old days. But I want to thank these guys for working really hard. If we could put together 4 motos, we could probably do an overall one weekend.
The US Aquacross Series continues to attract riders from all over the globe, and this weekend it's no different, as we see a team arriving from the Cayman Islands, headed up by rider number 146, Chris Bodden, running in the amateur 300 class.
So I got back into jet ski racing this year. I raced all through high school and was searching online to see what's going on with the jet ski scene, and saw you guys, and I thought, just really, really cool. Your production was amazing. The races looked awesome. Asked if they'd be interested in bringing P1 to Cayman, and some back and forth, and eventually we got a yes. So then we went to our Ministry of Tourism and said, hey, look, they're having a race in Pensacola. A lot of our tourism comes from Florida. So, why don't we go up there, bring some tourism reps, promote Cayman, and then also a chance for us to experience the racing up here and see what it's like. You've got the best racers in the world. We were eating steaks last night with Eric Francis and Chris McCluggage, which, for guys like us when we were growing up racing, those were our idols, right? So it's really cool to be here and be around that.
And are you expecting to do well this weekend? Are you here to win?
Yeah, we're hoping so, man. We ran pretty well yesterday. Unfortunately, both Matt and I took a bit of a tumble, but it's a tough course. 30 minutes is a long time. But, I think for our first time up here, I think we're doing pretty well, and we'll push for it again today.
Well, it is absolutely scorching down here on the sand, and it's going to be hot for those guys out there heading on out for race 3. Let's see what happens as we go join them at the start. Just ahead of race 3 with 2 done. You're sitting in 3rd place overall. You must be buzzing.
Yeah, I'm super happy. I looked at the results this morning and see my name up there with the guys. Pretty impressive.
Are we going to see you on the podium at the end of the weekend?
I hope so. That's what I'm aiming for. It's been so close every weekend, so I really want to make it this weekend.
But Dennis, a great result for you yesterday when you crossed the line, but you changed skis, so you dropped from 3rd to 5th in that second one.
Yeah, unfortunately we had a mishap and we had to switch skis, and we definitely made the right move, I believe, and on a strong boat that should keep us up front now and be able to stay where we finish and not give up our 2 spots for changing boats.
Okay, folks, put your seat backs and tray tables in their upright and locked position as race number 3 is set to take off. There goes the green flag, and we are 30 minutes plus a lap as we go on board with Brian Baldwin. And you can see just what Mr. Baldwin has to contend with out there. 20 other racers from 4 other countries joining the party. Now, there's one happy camper right there, Sophie Francis, as we go on board here with Sophie. Sophie currently 3rd in points against all the men out there this weekend. She's the only female that races in the Pro Enduro. And you can see Aksa Aswar grabbing the whole shot as we look through the lenses of Brian Baldwin. Baldwin in second, but look out. Baldwin's got company. Right to his right is Chris McCluggage, and McCluggage on the Broward Motorsports Yamaha able to goose that throttle and get on by Baldwin. So McCluggage going to settle into 2nd place as there's a great overhead shot here of the Emerald Coast, and boy, the water, the beaches, everything is beautiful here in Pensacola Beach. Back on board with Sophie Francis as she is dicing it out against the men, trying to find some clean water out there, but with 20 other riders out there, clean water is going going to be hard to find. As you see McCluggage coming out of turn number 7 there as they come into the front straightaway, followed by Baldwin. And that's where we've had a lot of issues this weekend. A lot of folks going down right there as that turn is so violent, and it is right in the break. Now, the water conditions, as you can see, have kind of changed since yesterday. Everything has kind of calmed down a little bit. Your top 3 going by right there. That is still Aswar, McCluggage, and Baldwin. And you can see what Baldwin sees in front of him right now. That is Chris McCluggage. And the battle between Broward Motorsports and Revo Racing and Dean's team this weekend has been epic. Nothing short of epic. Let's take a look at Dean's team racer, Aksa Aswar, as he gets ready to come down the front straightaway. And he's really keeping that Yamaha hooked up. Speeds of, again, between 70 and 75 mile per hour through the chicane there on the left-hand side of the track. Still got McCluggage back there in that second place position. And I'll tell you, you can't feel comfortable up in first when you've got McCluggage right behind you. Baldwin still in third as the checkered flag will drop for Aksa Aswar. Now let's take a look at the overall results here from race number 3 as Aksa Aswar collects his breath. In first place, it was Aksa Aswar. Second place, Chris McCluggage. Third place, Brian Baldwin, Sophie Francis, Christian Daly, and Dennis Mack, 4, 5, and 6.
So you got out in front, you built up a lead, and you stayed there. You were so fast.
Matt was behind me, and he was on me, and he's like the best ever. So I'm nervous as well.
Okay, let's take a look at the points here. After our third race for the weekend, Aksa Aswar with 67 points, Baldwin with 45, Sophie Francis with 44, Eric Francis, Chris McCluggage, Christian Daly, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Well, how about that to mark your return to Aquacross? Another win for Aksa Aswar. A strong ride from him, likely to be on the podium come the end of the weekend. And how about Sophie Francis picking up 4th place and another valuable 15 points with 1 to go? It's all to play for. Join us right after this. It's an action-packed weekend on the water at all Aquacross events, and the one here in Pensacola Beach is no different, with the Am Enduro and Sprint classes also on the schedule.
Hey, thanks, Kevin. Yes, we did have some great amateur enduro racing, both in the 2 and the 300 class. Your race winner for the weekend was Justin Taylor. Taylor went 3 for 3 and won all 3 races this weekend in the amateur enduro, which will mix up the points just a little bit as Greg Radulski and Dave Davidson both had rough weekends. Chris Landis also having a good weekend. Let's take a look at some sprint racing here, where Johnny Smith from Mims, Florida would take on Mo Saudi out of Morocco. Smith would take the win. In the Spark EX class, it would be Eric Ligopoulos and Tori Snyder dicing it out. And then we had the Sport GP class, where again, Johnny Smith would dominate.
So Brian Baldwin knows that he's done enough to take the championship overall, but for pride he wants to go out there and put in a great performance and put himself on the podium at the end of this weekend. And if he does that, well, he'll be the first rider to be on every podium in a season. So let's see what happens as we head on out to the start.
Trying to set a record here. You know, I'd like to come out with a #1, but, you know, we're going to do what we can do.
Well, after 3 rounds, we have Brian Baldwin in front with 185 points. Francis in second with 154. McCluggage with 141. Daly, Ligopoulos, and D-Mac round out your top 6. Let's take a look down at the starting line where the racers are being staged for the 4th and final race. Normally at an Aquacross, these racers only race in 3 races. This weekend getting treated to an extra as the green flag drops. Here we go as we go on board with Sophie Francis. And Sophie coming into this race here, poised to possibly get her first podium ever, to be the first podium for a female ever here in Pro Enduro Aquacross. Again, 21 riders racing toward that one turn. Who will it be? Aksa Aswar is 2 for 3 in the whole shot department so far this weekend. And it looks like he could be poised to have another one here as we look through the lenses of Chris McCluggage. That's Aswar on the Dean's Team Yamaha just in front of him. And it'll be Aswar out in front early, followed by McCluggage and Baldwin, the usual suspects out in front. Aswar actually playing the spoiler this weekend. Only raced 1 race in Daytona where he took a 3rd place overall, and that was the first race of the season as we go back on board with the GOAT. Chris McCluggage. You can see what he is facing in front of him, trying to stay out of that pump wash as they come out of turn number 7 and down into the front straightaway. And look at this big battle right now between Francis and Hill. Hill trying to work to the outside of Francis and going to steal that 5th place position, and that's going to slide Francis down into 6th place. And you can see Francis receiving some pump wash courtesy of Tyler Hill right now and Riva Racing as we go on board. We take a look rather at Dennis Mack. Dennis Mack on some borrowed property here had some delamination problems in that first race, so he'll lose a couple positions by borrowing that number 90 boat. Back on board with the Mack attack, Chris McCluggage, and McCluggage now trying to get past Aswar as it is a drag race as they work their way into the back straightaway right now. McCluggage on the inside, Aswar with that patented standing riding style on the outside. And again, you can tell both of those boats are prepared very equally. Dean's team preparing Aswar's boat and Cabrera Motorsports preparing McCluggage's boat. And they are side by side, deck to deck, rail to rail as they come up to the top left-hand side of the track. Aswar squirts out a little bit, but McCluggage is going to have position, and McCluggage moves into first place. So Chris McCluggage has moved into first place. Aswar, rather, in 2nd place, and Brian Baldwin rounding out your top 3. As we are just over halfway with this one here. And Brian Baldwin, you can see the top 2 right in front of him. He's got Aswar just to his left right there. And you can see just how close Baldwin and Aswar are as they come out of that turn 7 and down the front straightaway. And you can see the different lines that the different racers are taking. You know, with McCluggage going way to the outside and then Aswar hanging real tight to the inside. Baldwin going way to the outside as well. Setting up for that turn 8. As we take a look down there, once again, back on board with Brian Baldwin. And you can see Aswar just to the left of him. Baldwin trying to get past Aswar in another drag race here in this battle for 2nd place. 4th and final race of the Aquacross regular season. We are racing to the Bahamas, and they are back and forth battling it out. Baldwin vying for the overall championship, currently sitting in 2nd. He was able to get past Aswar right there, but vying for the overall championship. If things stay as they are, he will win the P1 Aquacross U.S. title for 2019. Back on board with Eric Francis, and looks like Aswar has some problems. Aswar, who was running in 3rd, looks like he is not under full power right now, not running on all cylinders, and looks like he's going to try to stay out there, get some points. But that's not going to affect your leaders. Chris McCluggage still out in front, followed by Baldwin, and Tyler Hill, sponsored by Riva Racing, has moved up into that 3rd spot as we come to the closing stages here of race number 4 in the 2019 regular season for P1 Aquacross. McCluggage takes a look over his shoulder, wants to see just how much breathing room he has here. And McCluggage again throwing it into cruise control for the Broward Motorsports team as the checkered flag gets ready to come out for the final time here in 2019. And Chris McCluggage will take it home. Congratulations to him. But your series champion going to be boat number 502. How about it for Brian Baldwin? Baldwin has put together an amazing season. He is the only Aquacross racer to have hit the podium in all 4 Aquacross races as Baldwin pulls up beside McCluggage. And they congratulate each other on being masters of the universe. Congratulations to both of those riders. Okay, let's take a look at race 4 results. Taking the win was Chris McCluggage. He was followed in by Brian Baldwin, Tyler Hill, Christian Daly, Eric Francis, and Aero Aswar. And let's take a look at our weekend results. Overall for the weekend, Aksa Aswar coming in, playing the spoiler, taking the win over Chris McCluggage, who took 2nd. Brian Baldwin in 3rd. Francis, and Daly round out 4, 5, and 6. Okay, let's take a look at the points for the P1 Aquacross Series Championship in the USA. Brian Baldwin taking the win. Francis in 2nd, McCluggage in 3rd.
Your first time back in Aquacross in a while, you take the top step of the podium. You must be a very happy man.
I'm very shocked, actually. I've been not racing AquaX for 4 months, then I get here, get to win all this. And I want to thank Dean for making a very, very fast boat, and I got a full 4 hole shots and get the win overall.
Went 2-2-1 and couldn't do any more. I did my best, and just going to make sure everything for the Bahamas is ready. Nothing's going to break. Definitely take that a lot more serious. Do some training and be prepared for Brian.
It was such a battle over the season. You know, I think it's going to be sinking in for the next 6 months. And you know, I've worked so hard over the last 4 years, you know, to get here. You know, I just got to continue what I'm doing and try and carry this thing into next year.
So there you go, another P1 Aquacross season comes to a close, and in 2019, it was the man from North Carolina, Brian Baldwin, who took the top spot. A great win for a great guy. All eyes then turn from here onto those World Championship finals at the Atlantis Resort in the Bahamas in mid-November. We'll be there with the TV cameras capturing all the action, and we'd love it if you could join us. Until then, from all of us here in Pensacola Beach, see ya.